Hi, this is Ben. This is another edition of React Hacks. Yesterday I left off with creating an order item, but two things that were left unfinished was an order page to see the order itself and then the total for all of the items inside of the order. So today I want to cover those two features. And right now inside of my cart, I have a few items, and there is a quantity of two on a couple of these, the fork pack and the saddlebag. And that's important because I didn't want to just tally up the price of one item. I wanted to make sure if you bought two of them that I have multiplied and added up the correct total. A really cool and challenging problem with this project at large was figuring out the difference between an item in my inventory, an item in the cart, and then an item in the order, because to the user, they all appear as the same thing, and in fact, they all have the same information, but to my database and to my backend API, they're all actually completely different. So yesterday I showed you how to create an order item, and if I click on this checkout button, I'm now going to get taken to the page with that order, and I'm going to use this number 62 up here to make a GET request in order to get this specific order, and now I have the order displayed on the screen here. So I have each order item, and that's what these are. So we've taken an item from our inventory, referenced it in my cart item, and then from my cart item I've created an order item, sort of just passing around the information, and then now I have a new data type here displayed on the screen called the order item. And it just has the same information you've seen, the name of the item, its price, how many of that item you purchased, and at the bottom here, the total. So let's take a look at the code and show you how this happens. First, I'm going to start with the orders controller. This is where you go when you send a post request to create an order. And yesterday, just to go over this again, I've created an order item by accessing a user, going to that user's cart, and then mapping over every cart item to create an order item. And I figured while I'm doing this loop, let's go ahead and just tally up the total. So I've created this variable called total, and it's initially going to be set to 0. But every time we loop through the user's cart and we create a new order item, I'm going to add to the total whatever the price of the order item is, and I want to multiply it by however many items there are in the cart. So now I have a total that will reflect the number of items you've purchased altogether. Now I have a total. Oh yeah, and then I've added it to the order here. I forgot you have to do this update and then add the total to it. So that's the back end. In the cart, the only thing that's different from yesterday is when you send that post request to create an order, I'm going to add this history.push and then send the user to this URL address that ends with orders and then the ID of the order. Finally, close the cart. For the order page itself, I'm going to save in state the user's order, and to get that order, I'm going to make a GET request to this endpoint of /orders and then getting the ID of the order, and that's the 62 I pointed out earlier. Once I get that information, I'm going to set state to the order, and once I have that order, I'm going to map over all of the order items and render onto the screen all of the details like the name, the image, the price, and finally I'm going to take that total which I calculated and print it here on the screen. So that's all for today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you tomorrow.